to public hearing for November 4th, 2025. This is for the legalization hearing for the 2025 annual meeting. I will read the proposed warrant article. Article 1, to see if the district will vote pursuant to RSA 31(5)B and RSA 40(16) to legalize and ratify the actions taken by the district at its annual meeting of February 1st and March 11th, 2025. Majority vote required. All right, Paul, take it away.
So this is the hearing for the procedural defect meeting, which is Tuesday, November 4th at 6:30 here at the high school in the auditorium. So just a little background of why we're having this meeting and how this came about. If folks remember, there was a cyber attack that wiped out the entire financial system, computer system, in the fall of 2023. And then in the summer of 2024, all of the complete turnover administrative team at the SAU, new business administrator, new superintendent, new student services, new administrative assistant, all the team that worked on the budget process. The new team led the charge to rebuild the financial system, resulted in some delays and technical defects in the budget process, and as part of the, under RSA, we're required to legalize that meeting from last year. So the technical defects that were identified by DRA, the Department of Revenue, were not posting the budget on the official DRA approved budget form, which has some letters to it. It's the
MS-27.
MS-27 form. We did post the budget on the website, probably with more information than this form requires. If folks remember, at the meeting last year and on the website, it was several hundred pages, that it was the complete budget that was out of our financial system, but it wasn't on the DRA form with that form that actually is shorter. We did not post the default budget at that time building into the form. We had a default budget number, but we did not post the default budget on the
MSDSB
form. And we did not have the board sign the warrant articles. And posting the warrant article, we posted the warrant articles on time and ahead of time, and met all of the deadlines on that, but did not post a signed copy. And then the last defect was all of these documents were not posted by the last Monday in January. As you may have recalled, there were changes made as all the way into right before the deliberative session. So to make sure that the documents were accurate, because we were still rebuilding the financials and getting to know the financial system with new personnel. So, but those are the defects. The corrections. So the budget is now on the form. Angela has put it on the correct form. She's been working hard with DRA to get everything right. The default budget is on the DRA approved form. The board, well, I got ahead of myself, will sign the warrant article. I made this presentation before getting to meet with them. So explaining a little, the single session meeting next Tuesday night, this meeting will be both the opportunity to have the deliberative session where we talk about the warrant article on the floor, but the vote will also be that night. That procedural defect meeting does not require the two-part meeting like our annual meeting. So it will be a yes/no ballot that night, in person. There will be no absentee ballots, and this is all just according to RSA. And again, it's a single warrant article with a yes/no ballot. This is the article to see if the district will vote pursuant to 31(5)B and, as Melissa read, in RSA 40(16) to legalize and ratify the actions taken by the district at its annual meetings of February 1st and March 11th. the outcomes. If the vote of the legalization meeting is in the affirmative, the district will correct the deficiencies. So these corrected documents that we have, we'll send in. If the vote of the legalization meeting is not affirmative, the results stand. We do submit the warrant articles to the DRA after the meeting next week, and this helps finalize the assessments by the towns, because their next step, after they know that we've gone through this process, we've had our legalization meeting, is they'll finalize revenue with DRA, who prepares apportionment and submits that to the DOE. The DOE, Department of Education, reviews the apportionment, approves it, and returns it back to the DRA. DRA finalizes the apportionment, and then the DRA works with the towns to set the apportionment so that the town can set taxes. So this legalization meeting is required under law so the towns can get their work done to set taxes. That's all I have. I don't know.
Part of this is why the tax rate last year was late too, correct?
Yes.
Because we had to submit a zero. That's why we didn't have the numbers for the form submitted in the correct time, is because we had to submit a zero because of the cyber attack, correct?
Yes.
We had to submit a zero. It wasn't that we didn't have it on the right form. It was that we didn't have the correct numbers to submit on the form because we had to put a zero.
Correct.
Am I correct? Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure my thought process was accurate.
And as we mentioned at the board meeting, at our last board meeting, we have finished with the fiscal year '24 and has submitted that. It has been approved. We're just waiting on.
The audit finalization.
Yeah.
Make sure that there's no audit adjustments.
And we're on our way to submitting for fiscal year
25.
'25.
Yeah.
Questions? Public comment on public hearing? Yes, Karen.
Karen Paget, Danbury. I'm wondering when you were made aware that a procedural defect meeting was needed?
I believe we first became aware that it could have been a possibility last year during the process when we knew we weren't meeting deadlines.
Well, this is for this year, though. This is for 2025. When those documents from January, the budget, and, they needed to be done in 2025. And that's what the procedural defect portion is about. So I was aware that you needed a meeting in July of this year. Were you?
Yes.
Well, why has it taken until November to get the meeting? I mean, the towns are in trouble, at least Danbury is, because once again, the school is putting them in a position of not having a tax rate.
Well, we couldn't.
Right, I couldn't get those fiscal year '24 numbers to put into the form.
But you have the budget spreadsheet, excuse me for interrupting. You have your budget spreadsheet, which would transfer over to the MS 27.
Yes, could have filled out the budget part without the fiscal year '24 part, but I didn't know what I didn't know, so yes. I probably should have did it incomplete and just put the budget information in for the 26 year, but because it was asking me for 24 data that I didn't know, I wasn't comfortable, so I didn't submit it.
I just want to make sure the board is aware of the position the towns are in. Thank you.
Yes, and that's why, I know that's partially why we've asked to hold off on the TD Bank building, because that would have actually delayed the tax rate even further, because that would have, that vote would have been right before Thanksgiving. That actually would have delayed tax rate again. So we pushed back with TD Bank because that would have delayed that even further. And we said we can't continue to keep pushing this on to the towns with the tax rate issues. This isn't fair. So we pushed back on them, and we did reorganize that so that it can be on the ballot in March. And we had to wait until this was submitted, 2024 was submitted and approved by the state before we could actually have this meeting. This couldn't be done until it was accepted by DRA. the 2024, right? Isn't that what? Yeah.
By DOE,
Yeah.
yeah.
The DOE, sorry,
DOE,
I get,
yeah.
sorry, DOE.
The procedural defect meeting is the Department of Revenue.
Yeah.
Sorry. I interchanged them, I apologize, Karen.
All right, that's all.
Yeah, because I believe we did speak about it in like somewhere between meetings in January, February-ish. It did come up that we would probably have to have a procedural defect based on the fact that we had to, even just the fact that we had to have a zero. There was probably, but we were going to have to wait till later because we would have to wait until things are submitted in order to see how many things we were going to have to adjust or clear up.
Has the financial statement of the school been submitted for this year?
24 has been submitted, 25 is almost.
Friday, I'm planning to submit to the DOE, and then after that, then BRA.
Which finally catches the district up after a 2-year cyber attack and change in management. Because normally it's due by the end of September.
September
And for the
30th.
fact that,
So we'll be 1 month late on the 2025.
but then having gotten 2 years worth in.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
It is a light at the end of the tunnel. So.
And the audits will be happening at the same time. They're coinciding with all of our submissions as well. Any other public comment for the hearing? Questions? Any other questions?
None.
Okay.
We stay in session.
Yeah, but we cannot start because one of our policies states that our public board meeting does not start until 6:30. We cannot officially start our board meeting until 6:30.
Do you want me to talk some more?
So we will close the public hearing at this time, but board meeting will officially start in 14 minutes.
6:30 will be the re-presentation of the warrant article and the vote. Yeah, we have two modifications. One is to amend the agenda to include a student placement,
Okay.
as well as under old business, I already have listed the property, the
Yeah.
1020 North Main Street, but I'll be asking the board to approve you to sign a second amendment to the purchase and sale agreement, and all the second amendment does is extend the time the bank is allowing us to finish our survey. Originally, it needed to be done by the beginning of November. They're extending the time till December 5th.
Okay. Good. All right, approval of minutes. We'll go individual just because of people that were here or might have been absent from meetings. So we'll start with October 9th, public meeting.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I abstain, I wasn't here. Okay, October 14th, public meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and tonight's non-public meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I abstain, I was not here. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, you were right. Okay, that's fine. I was like, I saw no, then, got it. My bad.
Thank you.
All right. We will open it up for public comments. They're shy today. Okay. Therefore, there is no response to public comments. Correspondence.
None.
Okay. Announcements and recognitions. Student board rep report. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a little list. For academics, PSATs for the juniors happened last week. This was an opportunity for most juniors to earn National Merit Scholarship based on their upcoming PSAT scores. For seniors, most seniors are wrapping up their senior project, with the first one happening last week. Bailey Dow presented her senior project. I think there's like 4 or 5 this week as the quarter ends on the 5th. Most of us are trying to get it finished up. Red Ribbon Week was kicked off this week and kind of started last week with the freshmen and their first day assembly. They watched the first day, I guess, documentary on Chris Herron and his kind of working through depression and anxiety and how he coped with drugs and the prevention for that. Miss McDonald and Getting to Y are also putting on tabling at lunch and allowing the kids to pledge to be drug-free, to make smart and healthy choices, and just making their presence known here at the high school. And as for sports, cross country competed at D3s this Saturday, with the girls placing 3rd and the boys placing 4th. This is the first time that both of them will move on to the Meet of Champions in over 20 years. That we'll see both teams there. As for every other sport, I believe besides volleyball, is kind of wrapping up their season. Volleyball is our only team moving on to playoffs. So sports awards will be held on November 12th of this year.
That's awesome. I read that both teams together.
Yes, both
They've
teams
been there
together.
separate over the years, but together. That's kind
Together
of
for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, moving on.
So last time, if you remember, I had 2 pages and 20 items, so I think I used almost everything up. So I only had 2 items tonight, and Leah stole one, so I'm down to 1. But it's kind of a special one. Is as part of its annual calendar fundraiser, Make-A-Wish New Hampshire kicked off their fundraiser with New Hampshire's credit union, their calendar sale, and the governor bought the first calendar from Ella, who got to go down and meet the governor, along with one other student, I believe. Were there 2 students there for? No, just
No, the other one unfortunately didn't attend.
couldn't attend. So 2 students were invited as part of Make-A-Wish. And everyone Ella got to bring her family, and they got to have pictures with the governor. And Ella also was surprised that her elementary school principal and elementary school guidance counselor, the force behind Ella's Army, were also able to attend. So that was a great surprise for Ella and her family as well. So we're very proud of her and very excited that she had that opportunity. And my other item was Red Ribbon Week, but I'm not going to talk about it since you did. But I just want to reiterate the great work that Jen McDonald is doing on Newfound Coalition for Youth. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, we put it on our websites and our social media pages. She did a fall newsletter really highlighting all of the things that that group has accomplished in less than a year and continues to work on. So that's all I have.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the presentation from New Hampton Got Lunch Program. Ms. Holler.
All right, well, Paul stole one of my slides.
Jeez.
Again, thanks for inviting me to come tonight. What I decided to present tonight kind of goes along with our 5-year strategic plan and the goal that we have to strengthen partnerships within families in our community, to promote transparent communication, inclusive engagement, and collaborating opportunities that support student success. So again, done this a couple of times now in my career, and you always wonder what to talk about and what to celebrate, because we have a lot to celebrate. Not only at New Hampton Community School, but within our district. But so I looked at that strategic plan and just wanted to share some of how we're strengthening some partnerships in New Hampton. But again, I have a quick Eller Army update, but Paul talked about most of that. But it was great. Ella's family was there. The Make-A-Wish organization was there, along with the credit unions. And the credit unions were celebrating that they have raised over $4 million for Make-A-Wish. So that was one of their other big celebrations. So again, we, Kirsten and I, behind the scenes, got invited to surprise Ella and her family. One of the, again, Ella's wish was granted last spring through the Make-A-Wish, and again, her wish was the travel trailer, so that's in the upper left-hand corner. We had a nice celebration at school on that day to surprise her and show her her travel trailer. Again, there's Ella at the bottom left. Ella had 2 different raffles, to number 1 or number 83. And Ella chose to give her raffle 83 as Kelly Ayotte, or Governor Ayotte, is the 83rd governor in our state. So that was kind of fun. And then Ella got a behind the scenes tour after the presentation in Governor Ayotte's office. So that was pretty cool also. So it was just fun celebrating Ella, and as you can see, Ella's hair is growing back, my hair is growing back, which is all great things. Ella's medically really strong, really working hard at it. She's grown, and so they have to go in and bring that femur rod and grow that with magnets. Oh, wow. And they can only do about 2 millimeters a time. And so she's still traveling down to Boston on a pretty regular basis to do that. But again, riding the school bus now, not really having to use the elevator, not having to use crutches, so really great success there. But the main reason I'm here is this past summer, New Hampton, our town, got together and we ran a pilot program for New Hampton Got Lunch. So how did it start? So back in April of 25, Chief Kathy and Pastor Scott Mitchell just said they needed to meet with me and wanted to meet with me. So I said, sure, come on in. And the two of them started to discuss their concerns and worries about potential food insecurities for our students during those upcoming summer months. So, just the history of Got Lunch, for those of you who don't know, the Got Lunch program, it actually started in New Hampshire back in 2015, and it started over in Laconia, and it has grown over the years. But what the Got Lunch program does is it provides on a weekly basis healthy, friendly, kid-friendly groceries that are assembled by volunteers, and then volunteers also deliver the bag of food to the families right to their houses. And it's done through two families that sign up through generally their public elementary school. And again, different organizations do it in different ways, but there's partnerships with local food banks or the grocery stores or some farms sometimes donate money for those bags that get delivered once a week. And then additional funding and food contributions, come from individuals, civic groups, and local businesses. So it was nice. We had Chief Kathy had some history of working and being a part of the Ashland Got Lunch program. And so he really wanted to see if we could, in a very short period of time, potentially do this in New Hampton. So from that meeting, we invited a group of community members to join us. And so again, Chief Kathy, Pastor Scott, the Associate Pastor Scott, Kathleen Howe from New Hampton School, Katie Notgarin, a former New Hampton community member. She lived in town for a long time, but also worked at our elementary school. Charlene Joyce is a community member. And then Tom from Interlakes Got Lunch joined us, along with our current New Hampton people. Christina Burho is our president of our PTO, myself, and our school counselor. So we met a couple of times, and from those meetings, one of the big things that got us going was Interlakes Got Lunch took our pilot program under their wings. So again, we would never have been able to do this, but Interlakes said, come on and join us. We'll help you build this program. We'll help you with it. The New Hampton School provided a very generous donation. The New Hampton Community Church offered to be our fiscal agent. So again, and they also cover the insurance for the people that are driving, the bags around to different locations. They take in all the money, they pay all our bills. So again, great partnership with the church. And then we as a school said we would find the 10 to 12 families willing to be a part of the pilot program. So really small group of people, and we were fortunate to say, okay, with this support and with these people taking on these roles, we'll give it a go. So we put this little flyer just out in the community, out on Facebook. And in our pilot program that happened again this last summer, we serviced 9 families. We had 26 children. It was a 10-week summer program. So again, that first Monday, school was out. It's done Monday mornings, and it runs all summer long. So it's a 10-week program. The cost is $280 per child. So each child or each bag has a fresh fruit or vegetable. It's a protein-rich sandwich fixing. So like one week it might be bread and peanut butter and jelly. Another week it might be bread and like chicken in a can. So with certain protein-enriched foods. They also had mac and cheese as an often that shelf-stable food item. There was spaghetti and pasta given, other weeks. And then they also had a $10 voucher for Hannaford's for milk and butter and eggs. So they're found in this program, providing that $10 voucher helps when you do give the mac and cheese. They can go to the store and get, the milk and butter to make those items. We had 6 volunteer packers at the Interlakes Elementary School. And then we had 6 volunteer drivers that rotated to deliver the bags to the families. There's just some pictures of some of our volunteers this summer, and I think just a fun fact and the thing that really is neat, we had 6 retired Newfoundland Area School District teachers or staff members helping with this program.
That's great.
So I think, that's amazing also. So due to the generosity of our community, we raised over $11,000, so we were able to financially support the whole program, which was amazing. And again, remember, we started in late April, and so that just talks again about our community at large. At the end, we had a meeting to get some feedback from our volunteers and other community members. So we offered, we want people's input. Is this pilot program, is it something, what were the pros and cons to it? Interlakes has invited us back. Again, that is a huge bit of having that. Interlakes has been running their program for over a dozen years now. It's a well-oiled machine, and it's amazing. So we're really fortunate. They've offered to have us, come back and be a part of their program. New Hampton, our school, the New Hampton school, and the church all say that they would like to continue this partnership, and they would like to see that the program continues. And we're going to expand the program and offer the program to any New Hampton community school family living in New Hampton. So again, we had a very small group that we offered it to. Now we're gonna offer it to any of our families at our elementary school, which is amazing. So that's gonna be super cool. So what are we gonna need to have this be a successful program this upcoming summer? Is fundraising needs to happen all year. Well, again, we have potential. I mean, we have, around 100 kids here, and then some don't, live in our town. But if we had 80 students at $280, we would need to raise a considerable amount of money. So again, fundraising is going to happen year-round. We've applied for grants through the Meredith Savings Bank and the Lakes Region Children's Auction. We'll continue to seek out other grant opportunities. And we're going to reach out to, again, our local businesses and community members. We need to increase our public relations. So again, we already put in a news article about celebrating the pilot, but we'll do some more of those throughout the season. Some of us will attend the different civic organizations around, such as Rotary and the New Hampton First Responders Association. Increase our Facebook posts. And then we're going to have to increase our volunteers, because not only we won't have just one table of packers over at Interlakes. We'll probably need 2 tables of packers, so we'll need double that. And then we had 2 routes, 2 driving routes. My thought is we're going to need at least maybe 3 or 4 routes around our town. So we're going to have to increase that. And again, we're just going to continue to need support from different organizations. But it was a pretty neat, people came around a table in our community and said, how can we help, what can we do? It was a pretty neat thing that happened that maybe people didn't know about. So I wanted to spend just a few minutes with you and share with you. We've got a nice logo now and all that good stuff. But I don't know if anyone have any questions or any concerns, wonders about the program.
Will you guys have to cap, you said you expect there could be as many as 80 children. With do you think you'll have to cap the number of people you can service at any time? Or do you think the program will be able to grow quickly enough to support all the needs?
You never know the needs. I mean, unfortunately, we're looking at our elementary population right now.
Yep.
I think there's some hope in our, group that we have that we could eventually expand this to our middle school, high school students that, maybe don't have elementary children anymore. Not speaking for Chief, but Chief would love to see it offered to any community member. Actually, he, through his calls that he goes to, he sees and notices a lot of need in our community. So it could be, down the road a little bit, a retired person that might need this bag
Yep.
to support them for it. So, I mean, that's, I think, a couple of years out, but I know that is his hope, is to maybe have this be a community thing.
Fantastic.
So I was going to ask you about you said 9 families but service 26 kids.
Correct.
I was going to ask if any of those kids were kids in the household at the middle or high school, but.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
So their siblings, so the family got involved in the program because they had elementary.
Yeah.
But there are also some middle school, high school students within that family that we serviced. So that is why we had the 26 there.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Nice work.
Very nice program. All right, financial. All right, custodial staples.
So we proposed to the board and then discussed in public to see if there were any questions in that. So a little history that has come out from our Armin's reporting out at Facilities Committee, and I was charged at the committee to put something together for the board. Is, as you know, we've made a strong push to fill the positions with our own employees without having to go to contracted services. And part of that is we were able to prioritize that custodial, secretarial, and support staff pay as part of last year's budget. One of the areas we didn't target, where Armin was still struggling this year to fill, was the lead custodian position. The lead custodial stipend position amount has not changed in over 5 years. So that is a yearly stipend they get for when you're the lead. You're attacking the daily problems. You're coming in early and staying late when there's weather or an unexpected thing happened at the end of the day, and where unlike some of the other shifts, their shifts are pretty predictable. Lead orders product, they take on additional responsibility of a little bit of management. So we have proposed to raise those stipends in order so that he can attract the appropriate people in those positions. Oh, as well as the on-call. There's also a $1,000 stipend to be on call, which means you could get a phone call in the middle of the night. Something happened of the seniors made a huge mess at Winter Carnival. You have to come down here. They've set the fire alarms off, or something along those lines. And realizing for $1,000, no one's wanting to take that on-call stipend. So we've actually proposed to up that as well to $2,000. So.
Is there a time frame for the on-call? Is it like 2,000 per year? Is it like per month?
Year.
Per year, okay.
Yep.
Okay. How many times has somebody been called in?
It's a good question. I'll ask Armand.
It's
Well,
just-
right
I-
now,
it's just-
it's mostly Armand that's taking the calls.
Which is why he wants someone else.
So we
to do
also
it.
would
Which
like,
is fine, I just
we
was
would like
like,
to keep Armand because he's doing a great job.
yeah, I don't disagree. I was just like, has anybody, okay, they're just calling Armand, got it.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night, he gets to drive from Rumney all the way to Danbury,
Yep.
or, yeah, no, that's not fun.
Gotcha.
Yes, we propose to increase the lead stipend for the high school by $1,500, increase the middle school by 1,000, increase the elementary schools by 1,000. Or two by 1,000, one by 500.
And that'll be good within the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the custodial stipends.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Any further discussion regarding the stipends? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next, committee reports, budget committee? Nothing. Facilities committee? Policy? Nope, they're waiting for,
Still waiting. I expected the update to be
Right.
out by now, but they keep kicking our webinar out another week. They must be
Gotcha.
working hard on this update.
gotcha. Curriculum, I know has nothing. Building committee has a meeting tomorrow night.
5. Yep.
5. Tomorrow night at 5. Wellness, oh, they had a meeting.
Yep. January or something like that.
Yep.
We do.
Tech council,
This Wednesday.
okay. Negotiations is meeting and moving along. We're meeting again tomorrow, but we're meeting and moving along.
Clone fall.
Oh, right,
Because I have to be at 2 meetings tomorrow.
2 meetings at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, old business, 1020 North Main Street, amendment to the purchase and sales agreement.
Yes, as I explained at the beginning, we do have an extension already in place with them for the purchase and sale itself to go on to our annual meeting. But as part of that, we also needed more time to finish our survey, and they've sent a second amendment agreeing to extend that survey period to December 5th.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the amendment.
I will make a motion to approve the amendment.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Okay, the delegate assembly and proposed resolution report. You went to your lovely meeting.
Oh, yes,
How's
and
it?
it was super riveting. Out of the 166 potential delegates, there were 54 in attendance. There were, so the 13, 14 amendment proposed resolution was actually tabled, and they merged
Gotcha.
it all under 15. And then during 15, they were having some difficulty with some language, so I jumped up to the podium and I helped them out a little bit. And after hearing it, I actually changed our mind on our position, because seemingly having a hand in writing it, I felt kind of silly then opposing it. And after hearing it, as you kind of indicated,
Right.
it made a little more sense hearing the full. So essentially, their take was that the state should not regulate open enrollment, which leaving it up to the municipalities. So in essence, I kind of agree. Having something be blanket statewide, one size doesn't always fit all. And hearing their proposed resolution with our newfound area injected language, it seemed to make sense. So I did change our school board vote on that one. Do you want me to go through each one and tell you the outcome?
Go through the highlights.
16
Yeah,
was
we're having-
passed.
Yeah, okay.
17, the motion failed, which we had opposed originally. 18, it passed, and we had originally opposed that one. 19 was in favor, but we were in favor of it, but the motion failed. And then 20 also failed. 21, we had opposed, it was not passed, everyone opposed that one. And then, we were in favor on 22. It passed with a simple majority. They did warn that related to this, be careful, school boards should take caution in approving non-voted on by the public leases, because if they have to enter into a default budget for any reason, those non-publicly voted on leases aren't covered under the default budgets. So, just something they said just to kind of keep in mind. Number 23, I actually abstained from, because after there was a lot of heated discussion, they had shifted away from the original intent of the original proposed resolution so far that I didn't feel taking a stance as the school board made a lot of sense. So I just chose to abstain. They literally chose to move forward with a resolution from 1998. And so at that point, I was just like, yep, I'm gonna walk away from this one. Number 24, we were in favor. They actually the motion passed, but it was by a simple majority. I think that was the last one. The meeting adjourned about 2:30 p.m. And I took the opportunity to be able to speak on a couple different of these, and it seemed to go very well.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much. Thanks for going, and thanks for bringing that information back.
It was super exciting.
Way more fun than the sunshine outside.
Next year, it's your turn. The torch has been passed.
Sit there and smile.
Is that a rite of passage of every new board member? Is that what I guess?
I was born in that. I don't know if I can sit still long enough.
On a side note,
I think the year I had it was, we had COVID, so it was a remote meeting.
boy. But in retrospect, I was able to meet a lot of interesting people from a lot of the other school districts and the school boards. I was able to network a little bit and kind of find out some of the predicaments that other school boards are facing. So,
Did they have a presenter this year?
yes. I wrote his information down. Really good speaker. I took a picture of it just so I could. Bear with me. Lots of pictures.
I can't believe only 54 of 166 delegates.
I know.
John JG Academy, JHCP Academy, Paul, and he spoke about, he cut his presentation very short. He had an hour and 15 minutes. I think he started late, so he kept like buzzing through slides, and he was like, I gotta make up some time, so we're gonna talk about this. It was a lot about communication, the school board having adopted norms, different things that I kind of took notes on is, and they make sense. Do an exercise and ask why each one of us serve at some point when we're having a private meeting. Ask each chair member or board member why they joined the school board. Set meeting norms. Make this clear at every meeting. Sometimes a lot of the different school boards said that they'll sit up and read these at the start of each meeting. Some of them are like, be respectful to each other. Allow others to speak without interruption. Work to resolve the issue, not make it personal. Make the children be the priority of everything. Put ego aside. So just simple things like that. Print out that policy, especially when it comes to people injecting public comment, because the public should also engage in those same norms as we do. Crisis communication, having one voice, making sure the one voice is outward facing and it's coming from one person so that the message doesn't get convoluted, which I clearly, being an emergency management person, I agree with that 100%. All good things should be spoken by every board member, but when there's a moment of crisis, we stick with the one voice, the superintendent's voice, or his delegate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Extra credit. There's my stick figure guy that I got that during my meeting, so I gave that to you. I won't make you do the exercise.
Great. Well, thank you very much. All right, academic standards approval from last week, the Ariel's presentation for the academic standards approval.
Yeah, so as a follow-up to Ariel's presentation with maybe, I don't want to say miscommunication, because I don't think it was miscommunication on Ariel's part. It might have been misinterpretation on my part, is that I think she was expecting both of a presentation and approval. But I think it was great to have it in two parts because it stirred some discussion and conversation that, what else could we see in this document? So I know, Melissa, you had some suggestions. Then Ariel created this document and threw it by me, and I had very little suggestions, but just a couple. And I think it kind of had us like more hands on this document for, kind of shared ownership. So I don't know if you have any questions for Ariel on it since...
So what was in this week's board packet was just a revision of the initial document, just to provide, I think, some clarity. And I did really appreciate the feedback. The original template had come out of the Lakes Region Curriculum Instruction Assessment Administrators Group. And that was a template that was, that was technically not just out of that group. The template was provided by the educators who had worked on the 306 framework that I had shared some materials from. So I clarified, I linked in here to the 306s, naming specifically which ones are sort of setting the parameters for the different grade levels of our school district. I also put a link to the Public State Academic Standards website and just provided a little more streamlining and clarity. So the sample competencies that exist in the Department of Education website, I've removed those because we don't want to adhere ourselves to those necessarily. We want to stick specifically to the adopted academic standards that are on the Department of Education website in the specified content areas of arts education, computer science, English language arts, English as a second language, health education, mathematics, physical education, science, social studies, and world language. And then in addition to the ones that have additional recommended standards that we're seeking board approval for the adoption for those additional local district for the music, art, the International Society for Technology and Education, Shape America, the C3 National Framework for Social Studies. So we've provided specific information in the explanatory notes there. But in addition to the specified content areas where we have standards on the Department of Education website, there are some additional content areas that are explicitly called out in the 306s, and I've identified which 306 rules specifically, and most of those have no formal standards provided, but they are required grade levels or school counseling program, technology and engineering and work study practices that are specifically named in the 306s but lack those Department of Education approved national or state level standards. And so adding those additional sort of local adoption of the additional standards in the document, as I explained in the explanatory notes, will support the work of our district in either creating new competencies, updating competencies, or just supporting the curriculum programming that we offer in our schools. So. Perfect, thank you. Thank you for your feedback, because I think the document's better now.
I think it looks
Appreciate
great.
the collaboration.
I think it looks great now.
But you took out digital literacy.
So it's not removed, however, it's just housed up under computer science.
Okay.
So I just tried to clarify, because it's
like,
not
oh, no.
digital. No, and we have digital literacy is like a requirement.
Right.
And it's under library media as well, and it's
Yeah.
under like, so it's like kind of embedded in some other things, but I just tried to
It's there.
streamline. It's
Okay.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's absolutely
It's
there.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just that you put it under a different, okay.
As
You don't
a-
need to know how the sausage is made.
As an ELA teacher who feels really strongly about digital literacy, not just like text-based literacy, not 100%. It's still there.
Yeah, I think it's in many places.
Well, I
Yeah.
am sure it's,
Absolutely.
it's probably everywhere.
The wave of the
Let's be
future.
real.
The wave of the future.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve the academic standards approval as proposed.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next, the 2026-2027 calendar discussion.
I just wanted to introduce, just to get it out there, that we, as a Lakes region, we were given 3 possible drafts from Laconia, because next year is a little interesting. Labor Day is very late,
Oh.
Because it's not as
like
early.
the last day it could be.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, because it starts on them.
So they, we need to sit down as superintendents and have discussion, but I think, I wanted to kind of put that out there, because I know one thing that's going to be put on the table will be, well, they
week
put
before.
3 possible scenarios for us to discuss as a superintendents on the table. Is one is to start school for students on, looks like their 3 models was September 9th,
Which would be after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Well,
which for them would be a Wednesday.
so we'll be in school for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Well, because it was a.
And the
Labor Day was
last
so
day of
early this
school
year,
for
so
that
it's the-
would be June 24th.
No, thank you.
Wow. I know. That's, I wonder why they picked the 9th and not the 8th, because 8th is Tuesday.
Some-
They're doing a teacher day on the 8th.
Well, some schools, so from where I went to school, it was always after Labor Day, but different districts started either on the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, but it was the same every year. So they might just start on Wednesdays.
But I mean, I think it's going to be up for discussion amongst all of us, but then at the end of the day, Laconia is going to, because we send our kids to Hewitt. Well, another scenario we'll be discussing is starting the students on Tuesday, September 1st. Still waiting till September, but before Labor Day.
Yep.
Still better.
And then they had another model of starting them on Monday, the 31st of August, I think.
On the second and third model, what would the last days of school be?
22nd and 17th respectively.
Yeah.
So,
So for one day, they get,
That's Army math. You just can't figure it out.
yeah.
It doesn't need to make sense.
But you throw weekends in there.
Leap years.
Paul, I know there's some talk floating around too about like using schools as polling locations.
Yes.
How does that look in that calendar? Is that the same with all the?
Yeah,
other
they
schools as
use,
well?
Laconia uses their schools as polling locations, and as I brought to this board last year, I believe, the town of Bristol has asked us to do the same, and I said, well, that actually is very convenient now that there's legislation that we have to align as close as possible with Laconia's calendar, the Hewitt calendar. So we will be using our schools as polling locations, but what we would do those around is the March could be around our in-service day for teachers in March, and then we've managed to do the November election around parent-teacher conferences.
And if I may, there was actually quite a lot of heated discussion about that very thing in the schools being polling locations regarding the enforcement of federal law and firearms on school grounds.
Which is why we would have it when students aren't in the building.
school, right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what a lot of the schools said. So
Yeah.
when they use their facilities for voting days, they don't have any children in the schools, so
Yeah.
they don't, it's kind of the workaround to the citizens being able to be,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep, agreed.
does it mean that
Was there
they,
any discussion with Laconia and whatnot about switching to hours versus days?
No, not yet. We haven't had our discussion. We were just handed these as,
Yeah,
these would be discussion items, yeah.
Right, with the big push of after Labor Day, is there, you know what I mean? Is there that ability to switch to an hour space because we do so many, I mean, nowadays with the remote days for snow days, there isn't that need. Is there the ability to switch to?
I feel like we should be able to, anyways, if we're switching completely to competencies, like the whole state, which we've already been in, and we tell everybody else, like summer school, it's not about seat time, it's about getting the competencies done, yet we're gonna force you during the school year to be there for exactly this many days. So to me, that does not make sense.
And interestingly enough, and throwing on top of all this, we're going to get a preview soon of what the legislature is going to be working on this session. My understanding is about 400 bills. I don't know how many of them will affect schools, but one of them may be a universal rule that all schools start after Labor Day. So
Right, and I
that's
just,
something that, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and I just, you know what I mean, it's just because it's come up recently about, you know, I mean, before, years ago, like, before we really started pushing remote days out, you know, during
Yeah.
COVID and things like that, we used to have to sometimes call March, April, switch from 180 days to hours based in
Yeah.
order to be able to schedule our last day. We used to have to approve that as the board.
Yeah.
I remember doing that, so is there the ability to start September 9th, but maybe do some sort of switch to
Not going to the 24th of June.
not going to the 24th and doing something hours based and making our calendars a little less overwhelming?
So I can bring that up when the superintendent's group talks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a thought, because so many of us now do the remote days on snow, you know, winter days, I guess. I wouldn't call them snow days anymore
Well,
because
and then
they're
this-
wintry
The
days.
schools that don't do remote days go by the hour.
Yeah. My one worry, and I wonder if, and again, I'll let them address it, but just in thinking about that, is even though the state standards around education, you know, isn't about seat time, I'm wondering with the Hewitt Center if some of those industry certifications are about seat time and are about hours. I don't know.
They may be
I'll-
continuing
yeah.
education hours for someone that's in a trade. They base it off of 40 hours of in-service training. Law enforcement is the same way, so I would understand that.
Right, and they might be, but usually those usually end a little bit earlier.
Yeah, sometimes they maybe a few days earlier, you're right.
Right.
And they
You
may
know?
be self-paced as well,
It's-
some of them.
Yeah, especially year two, some of those hours are achieved by students in the field.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
But I don't know about
so-
year one, certain amount of instruction hours for them to get there, but again, you're right, we have a little bit of that flexibility at the end of the year. But I'll bring that up.
I mean, if we want to push it to September 9th, because we've been really trying to push that after Labor Day, because that's been a big thing. June 24th is, I'm not trying to be, that's just silly. That's just, I'm sorry, it's absurd.
For us, because we don't always match them exactly. Like the RSA says we have to match them within a certain amount of days. I would suspect that I would recommend to this board that we started September 8th anyways, which would be the Tuesday. We
Right.
seem to do all of our teacher in service the week before Labor Day anyways, on that Tuesday through Thursday. And then we always have kids start on the Tuesday after. We don't wait till the Wednesday.
Yeah.
So.
Right, which is fine, but
Yeah.
still, even the 24th is really, really late. I mean,
But
even
it-
if you could do something like the 17th and base it on hours.
Yeah.
And kind of get pretty close, because even graduation for seniors and things like that.
But even if it were starting on the second per se, like that's to everybody, it's in line with what a normal Labor Day would be. So instead of doing daylight savings, we'll do Labor Day savings time. We just bounce it back a week early.
Does Laconia do remote days anymore? Because I've heard that they don't even do the remote days.
Last I heard, and again, I can that's another thing to bring up at our Lake
They
Region
don't?
discussion is how many do remote days. Some of them were doing is the first 3 were genuine snow days, and then they would talk about having remote days if they accumulated too many snow days. That's what some of the districts have switched to, so.
Laconia West doing all of these, but they haven't.
Yeah.
I know Plymouth doesn't, they don't at all. They haven't for at least 2 years.
Yep.
Some things to think about.
Yeah.
But I know I'd rather have my kids do the remote days and not go to school until June 24th, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right, field trip. So we have a field trip request from,
So if you recall, there was a youth government program started up last year through Project Promise, and the group is repeating their trip it's an overnight down in Concord. So
because it's an overnight, this board needs to approve it.
Okay.
Heard the group has grown in size too
Yes,
from last
we've
year.
almost doubled. from
That's
last
awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
year. Mr.
Okay.
Harris, do you have a date for that?
Yes, it's April 10th to April 11th of 2026.
Okay,
Are you going?
that was the plan.
Okay. And this is no cost to students. This is funded by the federal after-school grant. So,
And school folks. No. Okay. Oh, we already did the stipends. We did it under financial. It's on there twice tonight.
oh yeah.
We're just double making sure that it got approved tonight. We're just, you know. All right, next, we have student placement.
So as we discussed in non-public.
Okay. Yep. That's fine.
Okay.
I need a motion to approve a student placement.
I'll make the motion to approve the student placement.
I was. Fran.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I will abstain. Okay. All right, next, public comment on agenda items only. Any public comment? Okay. Seeing none, we've had a half an hour for public comments open. Yes, okay, we're good. Board member comments, any board member comments? All right, seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Have you ever had anybody oppose any meeting?